Matt Lucas, and welcome to And the Winner Is. Yes, we are here to recognise outstanding achievement in fields that other awards ceremonies are just too sensible to be bothered with. We shall be honouring anything and everything, from most painful minor ailment to least terrifying screen villain. I'm joined tonight by 3 guests who have each brought their own nominations for our different categories. Please welcome Richard Herring, Sarah Millican, and someone I've always wanted to meet, David Walliams. Welcome. Now, Sarah, you won the Best Newcomer Award at the Edinburgh Festival last year. Do you remember much of that night?
I remember that I was starving the whole time, and I just had to be interviewed by 30 people asking what I was going to do with the £4,000, and they were all really bothered by the fact that I just said I really wanted to pay it off my car loan.
Richard, you won a very prestigious award, haven't you?
Well, I've won a few. I won Games Master Golden Joystick. For being better at video games than Stuart Lee.
What year was that?
That was about 97.
Right. What computer game did you play?
We played it, had to edit like a little film together, so it's like a very primitive film-making software, but there you could only use the images they had in the game. And then, so I won because Patrick Moore adjudged my film to be better than Stuart's, but, it's a matter of opinion, that really. I don't know if I trust Patrick Moore's opinion on filmography. Stuart's was very good, I thought, but...
You were being very ungrateful.
Yeah, I am. He was dressed up. And then in 2005, probably the best thing I've done, I won the Daily Telegraph Worst Comedy Experience of 2000. Wow. My Edinburgh show, Someone Like Shoggoth, was adjudged by the Daily Telegraph to be the worst comedic thing of the year, not just... So that's including just jokes in pubs that have fallen flat. Titty Bang Bang came out that year, Balls of Steel. I mean, there was a lot of competition for the worst thing, and I was apparently the worst.
David, I know you've won a few awards, haven't you? Do you have a favourite awards ceremony memory?
Well, I know we went to the GQ Awards and we got Men of the Year. Comedians, I think. They thought they need someone with sort of real gravitas to give us the award, so they got Peter Andre. And he said, this is my favourite show, I love it, I'm so excited to meet these guys. The winner is Little Brian.
He did, didn't he? And when we got up, I said, thank you, I'm a big fan of your song Mysterious Grill. Yeah. So, on to the first award of the night. If you type the words British Prime Minister and sexy into Google, it produces no results. So, it's time for us to think really hard and see if we can find a recipient for the Lucas for Sexiest British Prime Minister. So, let's have your nominations, please. Sarah?
Margaret Thatcher.
Lovely. David?
John Major.
Always a nosh. And Richard?
Spencer Percival.
I have no idea who that is. So the nominations for Sexiest British Prime Minister are Margaret Thatcher, John Major, and someone called Spencer Percival. Sarah, why have you gone for the Baroness?
Because I think she's probably the most manly.
Oh, so you're coming from the POV of a heterosexual woman?
Yeah.
Right, OK.
But I had vague recollections, because my dad used to work down the pit, because I'm such a cliché, that he was involved quite heavily in the miners' strike, and I had vague recollections of my dad mention men that he worked with who really fancied her. So I rang him to sort of clarify in which way did they fancy, and he said it's because she was very domineering that they wanted to dominate her.
Yeah.
And I said, so it's not so much that they wanted to take her out to, like, the pictures or, for a nice, like, candlelit dinner. He said, no, in a dark room. Oh, OK. But then he said she ended up becoming, who's the woman with all the dogs? And
Barbara Woodhouse?
That's what I said, Barbara Woodhouse, but he meant Cruella de Vil.
Alan Clark was supposed to be very attracted to her. Yeah, I can sort of understand that because she was in a position of power. I'm not sure she was aesthetically pleasing.
I mean, it would be good to tell your mates that when she came on, I've had her. It's only... like when you're given a free pass with your girlfriend or boyfriend, there's one celebrity. I accidentally chose Anne Widdecombe as my free pass. Because I just thought it was like a massive challenge. No one's ever had sex with Anne Widdecombe. It would be quite cool to be the man who managed to persuade her. But then I realised I've completely wasted my free pass.
Yeah, you're stupid.
It was ridiculous.
There's Megan Fox knocking on your door.
So it could be a lose-lose situation if she goes ahead with it.
Now you have to do.
Yeah, I would have to do it if Anne Widdecombe, if you're listening, Anne, and yeah. just thinking maybe it's time. I'm a sensitive, gentle lover.
David, tell us about your sexiest British Prime Minister.
Well, I've chosen John Major because I was getting on an aeroplane from New York to London. He was on the same flight, and I phoned up my friend Dale Winton. I said, "Oh, you never guess who's on the flight. Who is it, darling? Who is it?" I said, "John Major." He said, "Oh, I fancy him so much." And Dale, as you know, has got unusual taste in many. He fancies David Baddiel and Omid Jalili. He's got a very unusual taste. He said, "Oh, no, John Major, he's gorgeous." Which would explain why he gets, hot babes like Norma and Edwina Curry.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I tell you what, he's quite physically impressive in
He's
real
quite
life.
tall, isn't he?
He's tall and he's quite broad. Quite a domineering lover, I
He's
think.
not called John Minor, is he?
No, exactly.
In America, that seems to be very much getting. You've got Bill Clinton and JFK, and they're very sexy, and Obama's a very sexy man, but none of the British.
Tony
Blair was quite
wasn't
sexy.
really sexy, though, was he?
Well, you say that. He was quite sexy. Do you remember when we met him?
Yes, I do remember when we met him.
It was the Mirror Pride of Britain Awards.
Yeah.
And then I sort of flirted with him. And then we had a photo with him, and I pulled a soppy face and leant my head on his shoulder.
You look like Sebastian in that photo.
Yeah, well, I thought it was an opportunity to somehow degrade and humiliate him.
We've met Gordon Brown, actually.
We're name-dropping.
I know, it's terrible.
Prime Ministers.
Did you find Gordon Brown in any way sexy?
No, I don't think... I know, he's not a sexy man, is he, really? Probably his wife doesn't even find him sexy.
I'll find him sexy if he manages to win the next election.
Yes.
I'll be so impressed that I'll do anything he wants. That's another offer. Well, I'm just using this as a kind of pimping service for me and unattractive elderly members of Parliament.
Tell us, Richard, about your nomination, Spencer Perceval.
I will. Spencer Perceval, we all know him.
We do.
He was the Prime Minister in 1812, not for very long.
No.
He's the only British Prime Minister who's been assassinated, and that, for me, makes him a little bit sexy.
Why?
Because it's sexy when people die young and stuff, that's sexy. And it's like JFK was assassinated, he was sexy.
Well, I can't really ask either of you if you fancy him, because I wouldn't imagine there are any photos in existence.
He was a small, slight and very pale man, if that helps.
Well, that's for me. That's for me.
Oh, he sounds gorgeous.
Yeah.
He is...
What about Churchill?
What about the dog from the adverts?
What if you're...
Not my taste, mate, I'm sorry.
No, but if you're a chubby chaser, Churchill would be your dream, wouldn't he? Oh. No? Just me on that one? Well, we've got to find out who is going to win this award. John Major, interestingly enough, is the only one that any of us here have seen in the flesh. So I think for that reason, I declare the winner of the Lucas for Sexiest British Prime Minister. Congratulations, John Major. For every Doris Day, there's a Darren Day. For every Rodney Marsh, there's a Jodie Marsh. For every Tom Jones, there's a Steve Jones. It's time to find out which celebrity is least deserving of their stardom and has simply fluked their way to fame and fortune, as we hear the nominations for the Lucas for Jammiest Celebrity. David.
The Queen.
Sarah.
Posh Spice.
Of course. And Richard.
Peaches Geldof.
So, the nominations for Jammiest Celebrity are Her Majesty the Queen, Victoria Beckham and Peaches Geldof. David, why are you going for the Queen?
Well, she hasn't gone on Big Brother or the X Factor to get famous. If she runs out of money, all she needs to do, take a photo of herself and write £5 on it. And if she needs a set of first-class stamps, she just goes to a passport booth and turns to the right and does some photos. She is a jammy cow.
She is.
Yeah, and she's like, I will be on TV, but only on Christmas Day. Everyone will be watching. That's when I'll do my speech.
You've met her, though, haven't you? Was she nice?
Yeah, it's another one of the celebrities I've met over the years. The Queen. And actually, I met her with my mum, who's actually in the audience tonight.
Wow, that's the first non-famous person you've mentioned in the show.
She won't like that. She thinks of herself as famous.
My dad used to tell me the Queen had a fake hand because she had to shake so many people's hands. When I was a kid, he said, yeah, it's just a fake one that she just slips on because,
She's got her other hand inside.
Yeah, like a kind of Rod Hull type. creation.
Also, she meets people, she doesn't know who they are. Like, Ant and Dec told me they were at the ITV, another famous people I've met. They told me that they were 50 years of ITV, and the Queen went up to them. She said, "Do you work in front or behind the cameras?" Ant and Dec, you don't know who they are. And then she goes up to Chris Tarrant. "Do you work in front or behind the cameras?" He goes, "Oh, I'm in front of the cameras, ma'am." She goes, "I only watch television at the weekends." He went, "I'm only on at the weekend." She knew who they were.
Yeah, she's putting them in their place, wasn't she?
She does, yeah, she just pretends not to know who anybody is. I reckon Gordon Brown walks in, "Who are you?"
Do you think she watches herself on Christmas Day? Because it's pre-recorded, isn't it? It's not live. Yeah.
She's probably going, "Everyone, no, shut up, shut up. It's a good bit, it's a good bit. No, shut up." So, I want to find out who your jammiest celebrity was, Richard.
Mine is Peaches Geldof.
Right, OK.
She's the ambassador of the Mayfair Hotel in London.
Yes, she is, and she gets to stay there.
Yeah, she gets to stay in a hotel for free. What's she ever done? She married some bloke after 3 hours or something, a drummer.
I don't really know her. I mean, I see her around in the papers, I mean.
I imagine David's got some stories.
I don't know that hotel. Is it a nice hotel or is it like a travel lodge or...
Who's your jammy celebrity? Remind us. It's Posh Spice, isn't it?
Yeah, Victoria Beckham. I don't think she's got any talent. I mean, she might have that we're not aware of, like she might be really good at knitting or something like that. But none that she's been sort of paid quite handsomely for. And I'm just quite offended by her size. Like, apparently I read that only 3% of men would take her to a desert island. You think, well, yeah, fair enough, because if you're going to go to a desert island, you want somebody with a bit of meat on them in case the relationship doesn't work out and you just get really hungry.
Yeah. You just fancy David Beckham, don't you?
Not in the slightest.
No, you don't.
Oh, God, no.
Is he not for you at all? Did you look at him and go, "Ooh, David Beckham, yeah"?
Well, I always fall in love with the mind, and his is a little bit empty.
Oh, so who would be your ideal man?
The one that I've got.
Stephen Hawking, yeah.
I like Christian Bale, but that's...
Oh, yeah, because you look at Christian Bale and the first thing you think about is the mind, not the pecs.
Well, no, because he shouts at people and that made me slightly horny.
Oh, really? You like Posh Spice, don't you?
I do, actually. You know, she's one of the people I met, and people go, "Oh, what's she like?" She's actually a lot of fun, very, very funny, and she was very funny. You haven't met her, she's very, very funny. And I was in Los Angeles. I went to the Galaxy game a little while back.
The LA Galaxy.
And afterwards she was going, "You're gay, aren't you?" And I went, "Oh, no." And I went, "No, I'm not." And she said, "Well, who would you rather have sex with, me or David?" Well, David, obviously.
I mean, Victoria Beckham wasn't born with a silver spoon in her gob, was she? Whatever you think of her, she had to fight her way. Nobody handed her anything on a plate. She went to those auditions. She put in the hours, she went on the tours, she went to the recording studio. She didn't necessarily sing, we don't know about that. But she went, she had a nice day out, and it was very nice. She went, she read the horoscopes, whatever she did. She put up with Jerry, that's got to be something. She's put the hours in, and good for her, I say. Peaches has obviously been born with famous parents, but she's an ambassador for a hotel. Whereas the Queen, I'm sorry, it's purely circumstance with the Queen, purely circumstance. So for that reason, the winner of the Lucas for Jammiest Celebrity is Her Majesty the Queen. As the more perceptive listener will be able to tell, I've lost a lot of weight recently. Don't get me wrong, I'm by no means slim, but I have gone from what you'd call a size Vanessa to a size Fern. Now, I lost my weight from exercising self-control and only eating 7 packets of crisps a day rather than the usual 9. But what do our guests believe is the ultimate system for guaranteed weight loss?